Hey everyone, welcome to Taste Different Gaming Appetizers. And what are we talking about this time? Well, we talked before about how Xbox is increasing prices and bringing in new tiers, right, to Game Pass. And those were confusing enough, right? If you've ever looked out onto them, they are super confusing on what each tier gives you and what they don't give you. But, we got that. That's all coming in September. The new pricing model, the new pricing structure actually, I think, is in effect now. If you're a new subscriber, if you're a current subscriber, a lot of that comes into effect in September. But the new tiers and the new pricing model for those who are existing subscribers starts in September. Now, it's been reported by Windows Central that the company is considering multiple additional tiers for the service. The new tiers will aim to appeal to different subsets of users. Notably, one of the tiers being considered would be dedicated solely to cloud gaming. So if this tier happens, it would be cheaper than Xbox Game Pass Ultimate and is meant to appeal to those who have no interest in purchasing an Xbox console. We talked about the no console Amazon bundle deals. So there you go. That would be just streaming only version. And that, if they're going to go the way of having something like the Amazon Fire Stick and other things, that tier would make a lot of sense, right? Because you don't need the whole downloading functionality and PC Game Pass functionality, the Ultimate version, or Xbox for console or anything like that. We just need like a streaming version of it, right? One of the other tiers Microsoft is reportedly considering is a friends and family plan. So we had talked about this before. Xbox had tested a friends and family plan last year, but nothing has been heard about it since. Apparently, this option is not dead, and Microsoft is looking at ways to make it more financially feasible. So that tier, the friends and family, that sounded good. It sounded, when we talked about friends and family at first was a little too sounded a little too good to be true type thing. It was like, that sounds like an even better deal than anything possible. So of course, if a friends and family plan does come out, I would suspect it's probably going to be more expensive than any of the other plans, as well as probably not as good as the original friends and family plan, right? So just expect that. And the last one would be Xbox is looking into an ad-based tier, similar to those offered through subscription services like Netflix and Hulu. Now, keep this in mind. This is not, these are just considerations. Take it with a grain of salt. This may never come out. We talked about in one of our previous episodes about the ad, even analysts saying that they're probably looking into ad-based tiers. But I mean, Microsoft, I feel bad, but Microsoft has screwed the pooch. I'm a gamer. I love games and all walks of life on all games and everything like that. But Microsoft, I mean, they were trending in the right direction, and then all of a sudden they've trended in the wrong direction. And for me, I'm to the point where I'm mostly fed up with it. Like I think Shane's still trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm done giving them the benefit of the doubt. I think they're swirling the toilet bowl, and they're going to keep swirling that bowl. I don't think they're going to get flushed. I think they're just going to keep swirling the bowl. I think they're going to eventually, and I talked about this before, go mainly to a Game Pass only thing, right? There'll be a subscription service only, and that's it. They won't have a console. I think they will have a console next year, but I suspect after that, I don't think they'll have a full-fledged console. They could have a device that's a streaming box that you could, purchase or something like that. But they'll mainly be a Game Pass, just the subscription service, right? Like a Netflix or a Hulu or whatever out there with 1,000 different tiers, right? They already have, what is it, 5 tiers right now, or was it 4? I can't remember, 4 or 5 tiers. If they added these, if they have 4, let's say that's 7. That's 3 I just mentioned there, so that's 7 tiers in total they would have, right? I mean, it's already confusing enough. Because when I used to be an Ultimate subscriber and I moved down to PC Game Pass, and that's what I subscribe to today. And because I'm like, well, all those games come to PC anyway, so it's like I'll just play them on PC. So I went to PC Game Pass, but looking on there, I was trying to figure out which tiers allow for online play and which ones don't, because they all don't allow for online play. Only 2 of them do. Well, besides the PC one, Ultimate and the Xbox Game Pass for console. No, the Xbox Game Pass Core. I think that one, the Core one, offers online. The console one does not. So why? I don't know. So it's very confusing. Even going to their website, like I had to go off of their site and go to a third-party site to figure out what was actually included in each of the tiers. Because even on Microsoft's website, it wasn't exactly 100% clear as to what it was, right? So I went to like IGN or some other site where they had a breakdown of each tier and what each tier had. So then I knew, okay, that's what they have. So anyway, we've talked about some of this before, but I mean, yeah, Microsoft adding all these different tiers or possibly adding these tiers. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't add at some point an ad-based tier, right? Because I like I said, I think they're going to go fully Game Pass, and that's it. And they're going to have an ad-supported version of it, I think, for the cheap, right? Where it'll play ads or whatever the case may be. And I think that's ultimately where they're going to go in the end, right? It may not be this year, next year, or next iteration, or next generation of console, but beyond that, I don't know. I mean, because they are doing better in this generation than Xbox One, sales wise for console, and I think even user base is higher than Xbox One. But they're still losing, right? And not just like, I'm not talking console war, I'm just talking in general, right? They're still struggling. And I don't think even in the next console that is going to propel them even any more than where they are, right? I feel like they're just going to continue sliding backwards more than they are going to start stepping forward. During the summer game show, they did show off a lot of cool games, but with the strike going on, those games might get pushed even further. And Microsoft needs some heavy hitters out there. They can't afford for their games to get pushed out even further down the line, because right now it's not helping them, right? Because they don't really have anything. If you have a PC and a PlayStation, you can pretty much play everything you want to play, right? Besides Nintendo stuff, which you need a Switch for. But if you have a PC so there's no point in having an Xbox, right? Unless you like the ecosystem, I guess, because you can even use an Xbox controller on your PC. So again, besides if you like the console and hooked up to your TV, but again, you can hook your PC up to your television. So really, that's really the way to go. But PCs are expensive. If you don't have one and you want like a nice gaming PC, you have to spend quite a few bucks. But you don't have to buy another one next year. You can just upgrade the one you got, right? So, pros and cons. But Pat, what do you think of these additional possible tiers for Game Pass, and what do you think of Xbox's future with this?
Yep, Xbox. They should just change their name to "We Make Things More Confusing," right? I mean, that's their naming convention is confusing. I mean, think about 10 years from now, and you've got the Xbox 360, the Xbox One, the Xbox Series, the Xbox One X, the Xbox Series X. You're like, which one came which? PlayStation went simple: PS1, PS2, PS3, 4 and 5. Make it simple, right? It's in sequential order. Microsoft's like, no, they were like, how can we make this more confusing? And now they're doing it with their streaming services, because they were a little bit disjointed and they kind of shrunk everything down, and now they're expanding again, and they're going to expand again because they just expanded with their whole services instead of having Game Pass, because they used to have they have Game Pass, and then they had Game Pass Ultra, and then they were like, well, we're getting rid of our Xbox Live service. We're going to roll into this, and we're going to have Game Pass Core. and then Game Pass, and then we're gonna do Game Pass and Game Pass Ultra, and then they're like, we got it better. We're gonna add 2 more plans to this. We're gonna have core, console, Ultra, freaking PC only, and it's just they're just making it more confusing, and they're just gonna keep doing that until they shatter themselves in the market. Game Pass streaming, cloud gaming is garbage. It's not for me. I have great internet, but I still think it's crap, and we're not here. I mean, the services keep getting shut down. I mean, I don't know, man. Like Luna's still around. GeForce Now is still around, right? Yeah, and a few others are still out there, but they've come and gone. A lot have come and a lot have gone, and obviously Microsoft Cloud Gaming is still out there, but I don't know. Microsoft's about the only one that's got a leg up on them, is because you have the subscription and you get the game, right? I think GeForce Now has a few of those, but if you want to play what was the old Stadia, you had to buy the game and then you get it. And I think Luna's the same way, right? I mean, they have some free games on Luna, but I think if you want to play a game, you buy it and then you get to stream it. And I'm like, no, but and I hate what Nick said about, you don't need an Xbox. And unfortunately it's true. And that's probably why they don't sell as many consoles, right? You don't need an Xbox if you have a PC and a PlayStation. Now, granted, a PC is damned expensive compared to an Xbox. Like to get something as comparable as an Xbox, it's not as bad, but you're still looking at $1,000, you're still looking at about that for a PC. And if you want a really good gaming PC, even building yourself is damned expensive. I mean, you're looking to spend $300 to $600 on a motherboard, $300 to $600 on a CPU. You're looking to spend $7,000 to $1,000 on a GPU, and that doesn't include like monitors, and you can include your TV and stuff like that. But then you got to buy a PSU, you got to buy a RAM, and those are the cheaper components, right? A $200 PSU is a cheap component, and that's an $850, and then and memory is pretty dang cheap too. You're looking at $100 to $200 for memory. So your motherboard, processor, and GPU are going to set you back over $1,500 on their own if you want a decent gaming PC. And that's not running a 4090 or something. Components are expensive. So you could spend you have a 4070 Ti Super is about $800 right now. That costs more than an Xbox for just a GPU, just for a video card. And that's not, and then you got to get, if you want to play something in 8K, then you got to, or 4K, excuse me, not 8K. 8K is a gimmick. 4K, you need a monitor or a TV to support that, right? Same thing with an Xbox, but I don't know. It's just up there. Unfortunately, Xbox's realm exists for those players who want Microsoft games without a computer, right? That's not on PlayStation. That's exactly where they live. And unfortunately, that makes it hard for them to live in the market because they don't have exclusives. I don't think there exists an Xbox only exclusive because Microsoft puts stuff out on Xbox and PC. And most people who develop for the Xbox put out on PC as well. Sony is about the only one who doesn't put out on PC, and that's why you need a PlayStation, right? Because Sony makes first-party games that don't come out on PC until like a year later, or 2 or 5 or 10, So that's unfortunately, and I think Microsoft is shooting themselves in the foot, trying to go all in on cloud gaming, and by really wrecking the Game Pass tier system. Like year after year price increase, garbage. Bad form. I've already canceled. Will not be going back until some type of rectification happens. If they do bring in the family plan, this kind of explains it, right? They are basically making their tier system so confusing and so expensive that the family plan looks like a deal when it really wouldn't have been a deal if it would have came out a year or two ago, right? So I don't know, man. I think Microsoft is setting themselves up for a failure on the whole Game Pass and Xbox thing. And it may be their plan. Maybe they decided we have bought enough game studios that we're just going to become a publisher developer. That's our gaming contribution. We're going to get out of the console market. We'll offer a streaming service, and that'll be how we do this. We're no longer going to offer, I don't know if Game Pass for PC will survive, or Game Pass for console won't survive if they don't put out a console. They'll just have Game Pass streaming, Game Pass PC, Game Pass, that's it, and Game Pass, each of those come in tiered services, like Nick said, without ads and with ads. So, and then they'll have family plan, the family all-in plan, get streaming plus PC, which makes absolutely no sense to me. But, I guess if you want to have a streaming stick plugged into your TV and play subpar, streaming games, then that's on you. But I loathe streaming, cloud gaming. It's just, it's the dumbest thing ever right now, because our infrastructure just can't handle it. So, and if Microsoft leaves the console market, be prepared. $700-800 PlayStations are in the future, if not more. And Sony's going to be raising game prices to $80-90 within the year. I will almost say this: the year after Microsoft shuts down their console division, there's no other competition. We will see $80 game followed by a $90 game within a couple of years after that. And then, it won't be too long and we'll be having the $100 game, because Sony has to control the market. There's no competition, no reason not to at that point, right? You're going to get stuck with PlayStation for your high-end gaming and Nintendo for your low-end gaming, because Nintendo is the low-end gaming system right now. They make cutesy, artsy, cool. Now, their games are good. They're not. But if you want something like, I don't know, let's just pick something random that's probably never going to happen. If you want Halo on the Switch, you're going to have to wait for 5 years until they can figure out how to make that thing run on a next-gen platform to the Switch, which is not next-gen. They've done things like look at like Skyrim. They put Skyrim on the Switch. How long after that game came out did it take to where they can get the technology and the game development to be able to run on the Switch? I think it was quite a while, and so I think cloud gaming is junk and it's garbage and it's not for me. And I don't think that if they start throwing out ad tiers like Netflix and Hulu and all them, you just know that they're waiting to be flushed. They're circling the bowl, waiting for that corn speckled turd to be flushed, So, and I really hate to say that, because I've enjoyed Microsoft over the years, but the last year they've just really done themselves a disservice. They really, they're really going back to like the Don Matrix days of Xbox, right? Phil Spencer built all this goodwill up, and now he's just like the dog with worms scooting his ass across the carpet. He's in trouble, doing really bad. So
just tearing Phil Spencer, all down.
Yeah, and he's quiet. It's really, Phil Spencer's been eerily quiet over the last few months about all this stuff, and that surprises the hell out of me. Like, I wonder what's going on over there. Like, a lot of shakeup. Are we going to hear about Phil Spencer exiting? What's going down? He built up a lot of goodwill, and that goodwill is gone already. It's back to like, what the hell has happened to Microsoft, Xbox gaming? And it's sad to say, but unfortunately, I think that you're right. They might get out. Will they do a next gen console, or will they just do the mid gen bump and then get out? What will they do? I mean, I don't know, man.
They've already said, but that doesn't really necessarily mean anything. But they've already said that they're making a next gen console,
because it's been mid gen bump, and that's
yeah.
Next gen console. Next gen console. Check out our Fire Stick Xbox. Microsoft pumping that out.
I think they will have. I would say that the Xbox will probably have another mainline console, but after that, I would be surprised, right? Unless this next mainline console like takes off like wildfire. But if it does the same or worse than the series, then they're probably, I think they will release something after that. I just think it's going to be more of a streaming box, right? Or a Fire Stick in this case, or, not necessarily the
kind of like the
Stick,
NVIDIA Shield box and things like the Shield and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be more of a streaming device, right? It could be a streaming handheld like the Legions or the Shields. It could be something more like the Steam Deck, in that sense where it streams and you can download. or it could be a set top box that you plug in and you just, Xbox is there, but everything is being streamed, even the dashboard, right, is being streamed to it. I think that's the future they're going towards, and because I think for Microsoft, I think it all centers around Game Pass. I think that's where everything centers around for them. Is that service, and they got some heavy, developers behind their belt now. I mean, with Activision Blizzard, so and everything they bought, so they don't really need to. They can just ride on those coattails until they make the 20,000th Call of Duty.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I am really jaded. Like in my IT career, I hated working with Wise thin clients and things like that back in the day. That's the worst freaking thing. And now they're bringing it to gaming, and I loathe thin clients in the IT world. It's like the worst thing of the worst, because I don't know. They're powerful, but they're useless in some aspects, right? It's just so restrictive. And then when you think about gaming, you're like, it's just the same concept over again. I have a device that's supposed to be doing the processing for me, that is streaming the item, and internet's not perfect. I mean, the whole concept of the internet is self-healing, self-redundancy, that I can lose some percentages of packet loss and be fine. But when you're streaming something like a game and you're putting inputs and things like that, it just doesn't make a whole lot of damn sense these days. So I don't know. It's garbage and it's not for me. So I'll pass. I've already passed on my Game Pass subscription because they pissed me off with raising the price again for another year. So I was subscribed 2 Ultimate accounts, one for me and one for my kid, and we have no Ultimate accounts now. So Microsoft could stick it, and hopefully they feel the sting of their mismanagement on this one and reverse course or something. But I hope they lose a good chunk of their business so that everybody at Microsoft sees how bad of a stupid decision this is and reverse course. Video gamers need to get pissed about this, and they need to just vote with their wallet, right?
Yeah, I hope so too, because I don't want to see Microsoft or Xbox, go this direction, right? And again, this is just what I think, right? Whether or not this is how it goes or anything like that, I'm not an analyst. I don't have any inside information. I don't know what's going to happen. And just seeing the trends and seeing the direction Microsoft is going, that makes me think that this is where they're headed, right? So we'll see if I'm right or not. I'm not a great predictor, but we'll see if I'm right or not in the future. But I mean, still the fact that all these different tiers and they're raising the price, yeah, they haven't done themselves anything good lately. Phil had some good, like you said, he brought back a lot of goodwill, but now they're just breaking that goodwill down, I feel like, right? And like I said, people might listen to this and be like, oh, they hate Xbox or whatever. I don't. I love Xbox. I've had every Xbox console. I've played tons of games, and I got a crap ton of Xbox controllers and everything over there. A whole bunch of Xbox paraphernalia and all sorts. I have a 20th edition Xbox controller here. I got what is it? The Design Lab, like $200 and like almost $300 Design Lab Xbox controller. So I mean, I love Xbox. I just don't like the direction they're going, right? And that's where I voted with my wallet, and I don't, even their console, I haven't. Well, I did turn it on last night, but I haven't turned it on since then for a long time. I've been mainly playing PC and stuff, and I have been playing Xbox games or Xbox Game Pass games, but on my computer, right? I've just installed them on my computer and just been playing them there. Because again, Xbox is just, I feel like they're just making the wrong decisions and going in the wrong path. Not a path I would want them to go, right? As a gamer, I want them to continue competing and to continue making Xbox consoles and strive in this ecosystem as a competitor to Sony. But they're just not helping themselves right now. They're not making a case for themselves to the gaming community for that right now. I don't feel like, personally, in my opinion. So But Pat, you got anything else you want to add to this? All right. Well, let us know down in the comments below. What do you guys think? What do you think of the price hikes? What do you think of the different tiers that they've added? And what do you think of them potentially adding more tiers? What do you think for Game Pass? And what do you think of Xbox's future? What are your predictions? What direction do you see them going? And like I said, hopefully I'm wrong, but I just feel like that's the direction they're headed. All right. It just feels that way. But let us know down in the comments below what you think. Other than that, thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you like the video. If you're not subscribed, if you're watching and you're like, I don't know, you hit that subscribe button. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything and helps us out a lot. Just hit subscribe, hit the bell notifications to stay up to date with new videos that we do all the time. And we will see you next time.